Hello and welcome to this edition of Crossover. I'm Xiaojun with Dominic.
Hello.
And Raymond.
Hello.
Welcome to Crossover again. And today let's talk about the film rating system. You're a movie guy, so you should know a lot about this. Well, the discussion about the rating system in China. We don't really have a rating system yet. And you're a father of 4 daughters. And you should be very much concerned about this rating system because since we really don't have a rating system in place in China, and it's really up to the parents to judge whether the movies are the right ones for the kids to watch.
That's an interesting concept. So there's any kid, a 5-year-old kid, could go watch
any movie.
Anything. Theoretically, anyone in China can watch any movies.
That's quite interesting.
Even movies like The Flowers of War, which can,
what's wrong with that?
Includes 2 rape scenes.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it's about the rape of Nanking. So the violence is necessary to the story.
So
right?
we are talking about really a very open-up society here.
It is.
Especially when we're talking about the movies, the cinema industry.
Just generally in China, I mean, a child could go to a shop, buy a pack of cigarettes for his father and a bottle of 56% alcohol, and the guy behind the store, behind the counter, will not stop that kid from buying them.
Well, he will assume that the kid is buying it for
the
his father.
parents. And generally they are, because, I mean, I have to say, you go back to England, there's a lot of what you call feral youth. You know, young people hanging out in the streets, smoking, getting drunk, causing a lot of trouble. Something you really don't see happen very much in China. China's got a much stronger family unit, and the kids tend to behave and look up to the elders and not. So you don't really have that kind of feral youth that you do in England that you do here.
So if you come back to the movie industry and talking about this rating system, and I guess we all have different understandings about the reasons why we should introduce a rating system. But as a professional, tell us, why do you think it is necessary for us to introduce a rating system?
Well, there are 2 schools in China. One is a pro-rating system camp, and the other is anti. The one that argues for the rating system says that of all the audiences, we have different age groups. And there are definitely a lot of movies that are perfectly okay for adults to watch, but not okay for youngsters, for the underage to watch. So we should basically design a rating system to protect the underaged. But the other camp feels that if you do that, you're basically using it as an excuse to have more violence and especially more sex on the screen. And that's
actually their concern.
Yeah, that's their
concern.
concern.
Whether the introduction would influence the development of the movie industry.
I mean, movie stars are probably some of the most influential people on earth. Everybody looks up to Brad Pitt and Angelina and all of these people. And it's the same in China with the movie stars. If you see a favorite movie star in a really raunchy sex scene, you know, and you're only 15 years old, you're going to think, well, you know, maybe that's something I should be doing too because Andy Lau's doing it or whoever, you know what I mean? You're going to be influenced by that. So it's a very good point, really.
And also violent scenes.
Yeah, to a lesser extent, violence. Yeah, but actually we have more violence on the screen probably than any other country. But what the kind of violence we have on the Chinese screen is cartoonish violence.
Okay.
Such as in kung fu movies, martial arts. You know, you see a lot of fighting and, you know, banging the head against the wall, but you don't see splashes of blood. You don't see people actually getting killed.
What about, say, the verbal violence?
Verbal violence, well, it's kind of
I mean, on
limited.
TV, you will see, you
hear
swear
that.
words. You hear that, but on movies.
Yeah. In movies, usually, I mean, in the United States, they have actually more leeway with the movies than with TV. But over here, we can see, hear 4-letter words, like you know, the common cursing words on the screen. But it's not as ubiquitous as, say, a typical Hollywood production.
There's words that you just get used to them, really. I mean, Chinese swearing, I have to say, for people who are listening from overseas, it's some of the most unbelievable swearing I've ever heard in my life, at all my travels around the world.
It's very melodious.
Yeah,
right?
whatever that means. Your English is better than mine.
And also, it varies from place to place, because in each dialect, that word is different.
What are we discussing for this episode?
Let's back to swear words.
Are we talking about these swear words?
It's a good part of it.
Swear words is actually one of the signs that a certain movie should be, you know, rated high or low.
Now let's come back to this rating system. I mean, so far, I guess the most well-known rating system would be the American system.